In the East, a private intelligence operative finds her priorities changing dramatically after she is tasked with infiltrating an anarchist group known for executing covert attacks upon major corporations.
Robert McCabe called me himself. In 1 month's time, I want to know the identities of every person who poisoned his company.
I'm looking for the East tag.
I heard the East doesn't exist.
Who is she? Who is she?
Welcome to the East, Sarah. I have something planned for us.
I was really looking forward to The East because it's from the exact same writing and directing duo that did Sound of My Voice, which was one of my favorite movies. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was my number one of the year it came out, 2011? I don't know, but I loved it. And so I was, of course, hoping that I would love this as well, and unfortunately, I didn't love it. I liked it, I enjoyed it, and I liked things about it, which of course I'll get into in just a moment, but in general, I think it's just because the ending, not to spoil anything, it just felt like it was a little fizzle. It didn't really feel like a big bang or anything like that. It didn't feel like a very satisfying ending. It almost felt like the first 2/3 of a movie, and then, boop, that's it. I'm all for leaving an ending open-ended and letting you think of what happened next and this and that. And obviously, it does have an ending. It's not like just things don't get tied up, but it just felt a little too open, and it didn't feel like it gave me enough to really enjoy that. And I guess that's kind of interesting because Sound of My Voice is technically the first third of a full story. They said they've got part 2 and part 3 planned out. So if this is the first 2/3 of a movie, then maybe their next one will be a full movie. I don't know. But let me get a little more into The East, starting off with the plot and the writing. Now, the plot is the type of thing that can go either way. I look at it as it's a movie. I don't get into the politics of it really, or I try not to because I just want to enjoy the movie. So I certainly wouldn't talk to someone who's into politics about this movie because it's definitely nothing but political stuff. And so whether or not you agree with the things that happen in the movie, I like the fact that as a viewer of this movie solely, it starts off with the, anarchist group seeming like crazy people, and then you kind of get to know them a little bit and you sympathize with them, and you, just like the main character, sort of become part of the group. So I thought that was done very, very well, and I was into it, but like I said, it just feels like it dropped off toward the end, and I think that drop-off really started, I'm not going to spoil what part, I'll talk about it at the end real quick, but I think that it kind of felt like it came to a stop there, and then it never really picked up again. The directing was pretty cool because it felt like Sound of My Voice, which I really loved the style of. It was not really necessarily a style that you could pinpoint who it is, but I liked it. It's kind of this subtle, unique style, if that makes any sense at all. And I definitely felt that here. In fact, I noticed a lot of similar stuff, not just in the story of what happened, like somebody swallows something again, just like in Sound of My Voice, but just in sort of the shots, a couple of shots, like the shot in Sound of My Voice with the bridge, with Britt Marling walking across the bridge. There was a shot exactly like that in this. And so I like the fact that I can tell that it's from the same director, it's from the same vision. And I thought all of the acting was really good. I thought Britt Marling did a great job. I love her, and I thought she was just as good in this as she has been in everything else I've seen her in. I thought that Alexander Skarsgård, I think that's his name, did a really, really great job. Very quiet and sort of mesmerizing performance. Obviously, these two are really into, and of course, Zal, the director, I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name, and Britt Marling, they're really into cults, and I feel like this was a very sort of interesting cult leader character. And the only other person I'll mention is Ellen Page. I thought she was great, and I really appreciated her character arc, and overall, I did enjoy a good amount of The East. I definitely was with it for a while, but then I do think it kind of dropped off, and I just lost interest, and I'm going to talk about that right now. So if you have not seen The East, please stop watching this review. Please go see The East, and then come back and watch what I have to say if you're interested in seeing it. But the only thing I want to talk about is when Ellen Page went to visit her dad at the restaurant, and then everything that happened, with that whole scene with the water and all that. I thought that it really just kind of stopped because it felt like, is this necessary? It was like we already got our big sort of hit that they were doing on the corporation where they poison all the drinks. And then that just felt like, okay, this doesn't feel necessary because I feel like the story's already going along. We saw what they just did. And I get that it was an important scene for Ellen Page's character, and I did appreciate that arc. I thought that was interesting. But I don't know, just for the overall movie, I feel like it didn't really work. And it just kind of stopped the movie for me, and I just never really got into it after that point. So, unfortunately, yeah, I don't really know how to explain it. I can't quite put my finger on it, but that's the moment I definitely know where I felt like, okay, this doesn't really feel necessary. So, I don't know. Let me know in the comments what you thought of The East, and let me know what you thought of that scene. But if you're going to talk spoilers, please put a spoiler tag in your comments so you don't ruin anything for anybody else. Let me know what you thought of the acting. Let me know if you were a fan of Sound of My Voice and how this compares. It doesn't compare to Sound of My Voice in my opinion, but I did like some things about it, the directing and the writing to a point. So, I'm still with these guys, and I'm looking forward to what they do next. Let me know anything that you want about the East, and that's pretty much it.
What did you expect? That it was going to be painless?
You're gonna stay calm. You're gonna hold your cover.